We hear the famous phrase, people fear change. It's a classic adage. Problem? It's not true. We don't fear change. What we fear is whether we're going to be successful in the new way. People want this certainty. They want the assurance that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday. And as a leader, it's your job to sell them that certainty and believe in it. So let's talk about the change cycle. Because the more that we know about the change cycle as leaders, the better that we can help our people manage it and navigate it. So how does change start? Well, it starts only one of three ways. So that's the good news. There's not that much to keep track of. There's always going to be some catalyst. There's only three catalysts. There's an external, there's an opportunity, or there's internal unfulfillment. And then there are four stages. Stage 1, death and rebirth. Stage 2, dreamin' and schemin'. Stage 3, the hero saga. Stage 4, the promised land. Well, I'm not a woo-woo girl, so I'm going to bring up butterflies and caterpillars, and everybody's going to be like, oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm bringing up butterflies and caterpillars because I want to talk about them from a scientific perspective. The caterpillar is the only creature on the planet that actually has to change its DNA to become the butterfly. In other words, it has to stop being a caterpillar at a biological level in order to rebuild and fly as the butterfly. This is a fantastic metaphor for what happens when we go through the change cycle. So in stage 1, I said it's death and rebirth. Well, think about that. It's the death of the caterpillar before you can regrow into the butterfly. You actually have to become, and this is a scientific word, goo. You actually have to break down into a liquid state and be total goo, usually good with wine and Kleenexes, before you can rebuild. Stage 2 is dreaming and scheming. Sticky notes, wild ideas, ideating, brainstorm. This is like colored chart paper and massive silliness. The whole idea is that rather than narrowing the next chapter, you're going to expand. You're going to look at the capacity that you have to grow and rebuild. And then there's stage 3, the hero's saga. You gotta try stuff and you gotta be okay with failing, because that's what heroes do. They actually do fail. And then eventually you are in happily ever after. You had death, you had rebirth, you dreamed and you schemed, you tried some of those ideas, and some of those ideas worked. And now you just get to say thank you, and you get to watch a little bit of sunshine on the beach. Where are the pain points in change? Well, one comes from shoulding on yourself. Yes, you heard me right. So you'll be in stage 1 and you'll be like, oh, but I should be further down the path, or I should have figured this out by now, or I should have, done that and had it work. No, stop shoulding on yourself. It's forcing yourself to go through the change model faster than the actual process allows. The second is leaping from one stage to another too quickly. We call those rebound relationships. We call them rebound jobs. It's when we jump into something before testing it out, before really playing with the ideas. So if somebody's stuck, if they're feeling resistant, if you're sort of like, oh, this change isn't going well with them, stop and say, okay, what's causing them pain? Are they shitting on themselves? Maybe they're leaping too quickly. Maybe they haven't spent enough time in one phase to fully go through the process in order to set themselves up for success in the next stage.